Welcome to the Coffee Highball Masterclass with myself. My name is Dan Fellows. I'm the two-time World Coffee and Good Spirits Champion, and I'm also a coffee consultant for MONIN. So we've been doing a series of masterclasses, this being the Coffee Highball Masterclass, and it's just a nice opportunity to kind of get people who are at home or kind of looking to improve their skills to have a good idea of how to build classic cocktails, how to brew coffee, how to kind of mix interesting flavours together that you might not often have the chance to do. We're going to be starting today by quickly overviewing what a highball is. I'm then going to make three variations. So I'll talk through a classic highball, and then we're going to be making a Flash Brew based cocktail, which is going to be kind of floral, quite complex, a little bit tea-like. I'm then going to be making a tropical highball, which is made with Flash Brewed Coffee, which is where you brew the coffee really strong and dilute it over ice. And then finally, I'm going to be making a coconut and cold brew coffee liqueur cocktail. So this is going to be a highball style drink as well. So we've got the floral cold brew highball, we've got the tropical flash brew highball, and we've got the coconut coffee liqueur highball. So what is a highball? So a highball is a really popular way of drinking spirits with a sparkling mixer, often soda or ginger ale. Really popular with whisky and soda or ginger. And it's just a nice way to kind of lengthen something to make it quite refreshing, quite summery. And it's a beautiful day out there, so I might even have one later today. So my preference with a highball, personally, is about 1 part spirit to probably 3 parts mixer. Some people prefer a little bit stronger, so 1 to 2. Some people prefer a little bit more dilution and length, so maybe 1 to 4. These are going to be slightly varied. They've all got about 30 ml of spirit at the base, and they're quite an interesting combination of flavours, a couple of cool techniques. So let's get cracking. The first drink, which I'm going to demonstrate, is a floral cold brew highball. So cold brew coffee is a really popular kind of phenomenon, really kind of catching on all around the world, especially as a great summery drink, but it's also a pretty good way of brewing coffee in order to mix it at a later date. So that's what we've got here. I've got my previously prepared, here's one I made earlier, cold brew. And to make this, it was really, really simple. So I'm going to be starting with the cold brew, which has kind of flavours of lemongrass, a little bit of jasmine, a little bit of kind of citrus in there as well. This is an Ethiopian washed coffee, and it comes from cast iron roasters. But lots of great roasters out there will have really nice kind of washed Ethiopian coffees at the moment. So the brew method, always using scales. In here, I've got my coffee. And for this cold brew, I'm using 83 grams of coffee per litre of water. So in simple terms, that basically means to kind of, if you want to scale it up, you can do so, which you probably wouldn't for a litre of coffee, but you can also scale it down. So in this instance, we've got 25 grams of coffee and 300 grams of water at 96 degrees, which is just off the boil. So I'm going to put that on and grind the coffee. Coffee goes straight into my brewer. This particular brewer is a clever dripper, and this is a really nice way to do it because you get the kind of body of immersing the coffee and water together, but you also get the clarity from pulling it through a paper filter. And you can actually steep this in the clever dripper overnight for about 12 hours or so, and then you can draw this through, which I did this morning, in order to make your cold brew. So, I'll pop this here. This is literally cold water out of the tap, 300 grams, 300 mils, 1 gram weighs the same as 1 mil of water. And I'm just going to pour this in, give it a little mix just to make sure none of that coffee is dry. And then you can simply leave this around about for, I think about 12 hours is usually good, but it depends on your grind size. So I'm just going to once again give that a little mix. And you can see it's really, really straightforward to make. This will give you about 250 mils of cold brew, which is quite high strength, so really good for mixing in cocktails when you're going to be adding a little bit of ice. So there we have our cold brew. Pop this in the fridge. About 12 hours later, you'll have something like this, which is a strong cold brew coffee. So really good foundation to the drink. So this, like I say, is an Ethiopian coffee, quite floral, quite delicate, and I'm going to be using quite delicate flavours to go with it. So the base is going to be jasmine and elderflower, both of which have quite nice floral characteristics. So 5 ml of each, and I'm going to be building this in a glass really straightforward, really quick and easy to make. So one of the other videos that we've been producing is the clear ice video. So I've got the same clear ice in here, but any ice will do, as long as you use plenty. I'm going to go 30 ml of Glenfiddich IPA, barrel aged in previous IPA barrels. So you get quite a nice hoppy note to the whisky, and again that kind of complementary lemon as well. So 30 ml. Any kind of light, delicate whisky will do for this, nothing too heavy. Got elderflower, so I'm going to have 5 ml each. We've got elderflower and then jasmine. So 5 ml of the MONIN Elderflower syrup, which is really floral, kind of a really great summery ingredient. So nice. This is one of my go-to syrups for a lot of my cocktails. And then jasmine, MONIN Jasmine syrup. And you might be thinking, these are pretty weird flavours to combine with something like coffee. But actually coffee has a really wide spectrum of different flavours that can be found in it. And when you have something called washed coffee, particularly from Ethiopia, where the coffee cherry is picked from the tree, all of the fruit is removed, and then the beans are dried on raised beds, you do get a really delicate kind of characteristic to it. So in there, we have 30 ml of the IPA whiskey, 5 ml each of MONIN Jasmine syrup, MONIN Elderflower syrup, and then we're going to do 50 ml of that cold brew, which I prepared earlier. There we go. So now you can see that clear ice really coming into play, really sharp and crisp. And then we want around about 100 ml of something called tonic, which is basically half soda, half tonic. So 50 ml each. I'm going to go with soda water. I'm just going to use the scales to be accurate. And a little bit of tonic on top as well. So when you're mixing any drink with the syrup, you want to give it a nice mix, otherwise the syrups will mix and sit on the bottom. So this is a really refreshing, kind of light, delicate cocktail, perfect for a summer's day like today. So that with a straw. And because this drink doesn't have any direct citrus in it, I like to add a little bit of citrus peel, maybe a grapefruit. And you just want to express this over the drink. And you can either pop that in, or you can discard it, or you can trim it up into a nice garnish. So I'm just going to leave a little twist of grapefruit in there. And this is the Floral cold brew highball. So I've got MONIN Jasmine, MONIN Elderflower, Glenfiddich IPA whiskey. We've got the Sonic in there and a little bit of grapefruit. Cheers, I'm going to have a sip. So it's such a nice summery drink. You do really get the kind of hops coming through from the IPA. You get a really refreshing light texture. It's sparkling but not fizzy as such, because we've got the coffee in there, and it's a really nice balance. Makes me want to sit in a beer garden, which we're not allowed to do. So I'm going to leave this here, and I hope you make one of these yourselves. There's the Floral cold brew highball. Cheers. So that was the first drink. The second drink we're going to prepare today is using Flash Brewed Coffee. So this is the tropical Flash Brew highball. And although cold brew and Flash Brew seem to be quite similar, they're actually quite different in the way they're prepared. So cold brew is actually brewed with cold water, whereas Flash Brew is brewed with hot water, chilled down over ice. So this is using the same method, the clever dripper, but it's a slightly different way of brewing the coffee. So with this I'm going to grind a little bit finer because I want to get a little bit more extraction with less water. And in here we've got 20 grams of coffee, and it's going to be 200 grams of water and 100 grams of ice would be my usual flash brew method. So 1 to 10 to 5. 1 part coffee, 10 parts water, 5 parts ice. And the idea of this is that when you've when you've melted all that ice, you'll get a perfectly diluted, perfect strength cup of cold coffee immediately. And actually that's what I had for my coffee this morning. So 1 to 10 to 5, and the final result will be about 66 grams of coffee per litre of water. But we're only using 2/3 of the water to brew the coffee. So I'm going to grind this now. Just a little bit finer than I did for the cold brew. And this is a naturally processed Colombian coffee, so it does have those kind of mango, strawberry, cherry, some kind of tropical fruit in there as well, so a little bit of pineapple. And this is going to work really well with a couple of ingredients. So the MONIN Pineapple syrup, Balvenie Caribbean Cask whiskey, which is aged in Caribbean rum barrels, giving it kind of a banana-like note and a little bit of vanilla and toffee. And then we're going to use a little bit of ginger ale just to finish off the highball. So to demonstrate the flash brew, I'm going to add into my clever dripper my coffee. And then I've got 200 grams of water, just off the boil, about 96 degrees. And again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to add some of the water to get it nice and kind of mixed, make sure everything's wet. This is what's known as the bloom. And then as soon as everything's wet, we're just going to pour in the rest of the water. So this is definitely my preferred way of making cold filter coffee at home. The other benefit of this is it takes something like 6 minutes as opposed to about 12 hours to brew. So you can have a little bit more of this without having to wait for so long. So as this brews, we want to give that around about 1:15, 1:30, and then we're going to start building the rest of the ingredients around the flavour profile of that coffee. So like I said, we've got that kind of pineapple-y flavour. I'm going to be adding 5 mils of MONIN pineapple syrup, and then we're going to have, 10 mils of the pineapple syrup. Then we've got 30 mils of Balvenie Caribbean Cask whiskey, and again about 100 mils of the ginger ale just to top it up. So I'm going to build this over ice once again. I love to have frozen glasses. I think this really elevates the highball. We're going to start with our pineapple syrup. Every time I smell this pineapple syrup, I just want to have a pina colada by the pool, but obviously we're a little bit restricted on our travel at the moment. So I've got that in there. 30 mils of Caribbean Cask. Again, any kind of banana-y, toffee-forward, tropical whiskey will do. Or you could even use rum, which would be a really nice alternative. And now I'm just going to drop that coffee. So ordinarily, there would be 100 grams of ice in here, which would replace the rest of the brewing water. But in this instance, because we're going to be adding ice to the drink, I'm going to add that in here as opposed to in the carafe. So this will just take a few seconds to pour through, and then I'll pop it on. So the ginger ale is another really classic kind of topping for a highball. So a lot of people like soda, some people like sparkling water with something like a Japanese whiskey, just for that real clarity. Ginger ale obviously imparts a little bit of flavour, but it's much more delicate and less sweet than ginger beer. So we're going to be adding 100 mils of this. And the coffee is just about drawn through, so it's perfect. And we got 50 mils of this. So this is obviously hot. It's going to immediately chill as soon as I pour it over the ice. And then I'm going to top it up with our ginger ale. So the garnish for this drink is going to be actually vanilla, and this will just bring forward that whiskey. Because we've got the ginger ale with quite a dominant flavour when compared to soda water, we want to reinforce that kind of whiskey flavour. So I'm just going to add a vanilla pod. And it gives an amazing aroma as well. So, I'm just going to give that a little mix. This guy is the tropical Flash Brew highball, which is made using MONIN Pineapple syrup. We've got quite a tropical whiskey or rum, then we've got ginger ale, a little bit of vanilla, and obviously the Flash Brewed Coffee as well. So, bottoms up, cheers. So that's a really refreshing kind of summery version of the highball. Obviously we've got some flavourings in there which some people really kind of find interesting and tropical and sweet. So I'm really enjoying it, it's delicious, and the vanilla really finishes it off. Delicious. Hope you enjoy it. Cheers. So the drink we're going to be serving last is quite an interesting version on a highball. It's quite a loose interpretation, but it's something I really enjoy the flavour profile of. And this is white chocolate and coconut. So rather than using brewed coffee, I'm going to be using cold brewed coffee liqueur. So today we've got Diplomatico Planas rum, we've got Mr. Black cold brewed coffee liqueur, and then we've got the two MONIN syrups, white chocolate and coconut, which in kind of harmony work amazingly well together. And then I'm going to be using coconut water, and rather than building it straight in the glass, we're going to be using this, which is whatever you want to call it, a spuma gun or an ISI or a cream whipper, whatever you fancy. But rather than using the NO2 connections, I'm going to use the CO2 to make it sparkling. So I'm going to build it in here and then pour it over ice once it's carbonated. So this is a flavour profile that I've explored in a few different ways, and I actually think this is my favourite. It's got the kind of richness from the coconut and the white chocolate, but it's also really refreshing from the coconut water. So I'm going to build it in here. I'm going to start 5 ml each of the MONIN coconut syrup. And again, it's definitely got pina colada vibes. I think everyone's crying out for a summer holiday at this point, but we'll see whether we're able to take one. And then MONIN white chocolate syrup. And these two ingredients just work so well together. To balance these, I'm just going to add about 10 ml of lime juice as well. So I'm going to squeeze this fresh. Again, do this to the measure just to be sure. And as a little tip, one lime usually has about 25 ml of juice, so I've just gently squeezed half of it. But it's always good to check these things just to be sure. Then the spirits. So 30 ml of Diplomatico Planas, which is an amazing white rum. It's got kind of those green banana, white chocolate notes in there as well. So this is a really good foundation for the drink. 30 ml. And Mr. Black coffee liqueur, we're going to go 15 ml to bring in that coffee flavour. And then in the spuma gun, I'm just going to add 100 ml coconut water. And this is a really nice way to kind of bring a delicate coconut flavour and length in the drink without overpowering it. So pop that in. And then, like I say, this is going to be carbonated with 2 CO2 cartridges. So make sure when you do this, actually, another pro tip, make sure this seal is safely and securely inside, otherwise the whole thing will explode and go everywhere. So that's in, that's fine. Make sure it's nice and tight. And pop the cartridges in here, so 2 charges. I think they recommend 1 charge, so always follow the manufacturer's instructions. But for this I just want a little bit more fizz. You don't really need to shake the CO2. Also worth noting not to get the CO2 and the NO2 cartridges mixed up. I once tried to whip cream with CO2, which made fizzy cream, which is about the weirdest thing I've ever tasted. So be a bit careful of that. And that's nice and charged. And then I'm just going to pour that over into a clear ice block in here. And you have to kind of flip it over. easy that is. And then for the garnish, I'm just going to use a little slice of lime and some toasted coconut again for aroma. I always think a garnish should bring something to the drink, whether it's a really nice visual or a nice aroma. So I'm going to pop that in there now. Toasted coconut. And that is the coffee liqueur and coconut highball. Again, cheers. It's such a refreshing drink. It's kind of everything in one drink. It's tropical, it's got a little bit of citrus, it's got that kind of coconut, a little bit of white chocolate. The rum really shines through, complements with the syrups. Just think it's really nice. I think I'll be serving this more in the future. So there we go, the coffee liqueur and coconut highball. Cheers. Nice. Might keep hold of that. So there we have 3 different coffee highball cocktails. We started off with the Floral cold brew highball, using cold brew coffee and those 2 blend of syrups, the MONIN Jasmine and Elderflower. Moved on to the tropical Flash Brewed highball, which was a little bit more refreshing, a little bit more, again, tropical. So using the Flash Brewed coffee, which you usually pour over ice, we used it as like a high strength concentrate. And then finally the coffee liqueur and coconut highball, which brings all of those things together to find kind of harmony between the few ingredients that are in there. So stay safe, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good day. See you soon. Bye bye.